Hey everyone, welcome to this video on understanding the coordinate system in AutoCAD. We'll be discussing the Cartesian and polar coordinate systems as well as absolute and relative. Let's start with the Cartesian coordinate system. Our Cartesian coordinate system is a 2D grid that you're probably most used to. It uses the x and y coordinates to specify the position of a point or the object in the drawing. The x-axis represents the horizontal position, and the y-axis represents the vertical position. The origin point, also known as 0, 0, is where the x and the y-axes intersect. The syntax we'll use for the coordinate system, meaning the way we'll type it into AutoCAD so that AutoCAD recognizes it, is we'll put in our value for x, comma, value for y. Next, we'll look at the polar coordinate system. Polar coordinate system uses a distance or a radius, we'll use those words interchangeably, and an angle to specify the position of the point or the object in the drawing. Your distance is going to be measured from a fixed point, and the angle is going to be measured from a fixed reference, either the x-axis specifically or a line that runs parallel to the x-axis. The syntax for our polar coordinates is going to be the distance, that angle symbol, that angle bracket, if you do shift and then the comma sign, and then put in the value of your angle. Regardless of whether you're using Cartesian or polar coordinates, you have to use absolute or relative values. Absolute coordinates are measured from the origin of the coordinate system. For example, if you specify a point as 1, 1, the point will be located 1x and 1y away from the origin of the coordinate system, regardless of where the last point was located. On the other hand, if you use relative Cartesian coordinates, and relative coordinates are going to be measured from the last point that you specified. The example being if you were using relative Cartesian coordinates and you put in 1, 1, your point is going to be 1x and 1y away from the last point you placed rather than the origin. Absolute is relative to the origin, whereas relative is relative to the last point that you placed. When we take a look at this example from mycadsite.com, we can see that depending on which points we're looking to plot or which lines we're looking to plot, it may be beneficial to use different types of coordinate systems. For example, for the points 1, 1 and 2, 2, where we have the exact coordinates, it's beneficial to use the absolute Cartesian coordinate system, where everything is in reference to the origin point or 0, 0. For the next series of lines where we have measurements but not exact coordinates, it would be beneficial to use the relative Cartesian coordinate system, where we're saying how much we're traveling in the x and y directions, or our position relative to the last point. For the next few lines, where we have an angle and a length, it would be easiest to plot these using the relative polar coordinate systems. That is it for our brief intro to the AutoCAD coordinate system. By understanding the coordinate system, you can create accurate designs easier, more efficiently, more quickly. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.